Welcome to Orbicle Times Podcast, and hello to everyone, whatever part of the globe you're from or happen to reside in. My name is Kelly Jo, and here we'll provide armchair conversations gathered from interviews and research reviews to explore the seen, the unseen, and the in-between of the supernatural paranormal phenomena, with topics that circle around Spirit Orbs, NDEs, OBEs, UFOs, time slips, mystical moments, higher consciousness, and more. I hope that this cast will be our meeting place and judge-free zone where we can explore, learn, and grow through the telling of. This cast will be launched on a monthly basis or a bi-weekly schedule whenever I'm able to make contact with those in the know for their telling of. Speaking of those in the know and the telling of, have you had mystical moments or other supernatural paranormal experiences? Care to share on this cast? Then consider stepping into the light with your telling of, or send in your monologue for me to read on this podcast. Simply email orbicletimespodcast@gmail.com for a chance to contribute to this cast.
Oversoul it's an energy. It's not a person. It's an energy. And in every lifetime, we have a different main spirit guide. And all these different main spirit guides are guided by the Oversoul.
In this episode of Orbicle Times Podcast, psychic medium Barbara Bandel returns for part 2 of our interview, which circles around seemingly spontaneous suggestions from Ben, Barbara's spirit guide. From guides to, I'm going to say it, ghosts, OBEs, oversouls, and how to tap into the library of the universe. All this and more. Stick around to sample our post-interview chit-chat. What was that metallic sound anyways? If you know, please let me know. And so, without further ado, let's get on with this interview. Round 2, Barbara Bandel. So thank you for not only agreeing to, but also for following through for this part 2 of our interview. Thanks very much.
Hi, Kelly Jo. It's my pleasure.
No, it's absolutely mine as well. So I'm going to circle back to your book, My Most Memorable Psychic Readings and Personal Stories, which, by the way, Barbara, I binged read. And I don't recommend that to the listener. And I'll tell you why a little later. But I do want to say that you have provided some nice examples in that book of karma. I love the story involving the bookkeeper. And what I'm going to say is a time slip of sorts with your neighbor. So that was an interesting tidbit in there. Your manifestation exercises, they were really interesting as well. I just want to clarify.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Just to clarify, my previous recommendation is because it needs to be savored, I think, to the listeners. Take your time and allow for Barbara and Ben's words. Slowly digest. And I think that way, you absorb more. I think the slow boat is the best. That's what I'm thinking anyways. That actually leads me to ask you, Barbara, about the origin, the inspiration for that book.
I hardly know anything about my grandparents, let alone my great-grandparents. I would love to know who were they as a person, as a soul. And I thought I want to leave something behind for my, I don't have grandchildren yet, but I can see that they're coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then my great-grandchildren, I just want them to know that they can read about me if they want to. And that's how I started. The book was really very difficult sometimes to give certain psychic readings. And I wanted to share that too.
So the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Exactly. Yes. Like life.
That's it, like life. And that brings to mind when you had a client come in, she had a daughter, and you saw that the daughter was being abused.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Seriously, Kelly Jo, I thought about quitting doing this work after that reading. It was emotionally so intense. So I really thought about it. I'm not going to do this anymore.
So I encourage the listener to obtain Barbara's book, and I guess they can do that, Barbara, on Amazon.
That's right. I'm also working on an audio book. Don't know when it's going to be ready to download, but I'll put it on my website as soon as it's ready.
Mm-hmm. Did you want to give an example from your book of one of those memorable moments?
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
Something that really stands out for you.
Okay.
There's so much. Well, how about this? Maybe you can explain, because I found this interesting when you mentioned your process with a client.
I like the lights dimmed. I do like to lit candles, and well, I have a very cozy home, and my office was also very like a living room. The clients always said, and I felt the same, it's like we're in a bubble and there's no outside world. And sometimes when people would work on my neighbor's house or something, I don't know how the guides did this, but somehow it always stopped when the reading started. And when
Yeah.
the reading was over, the hammering and the noises started again.
Is it fair to say that the book started as a memoir? Yeah, to leave a type of
Yeah.
historical soul print, I'm going to say, for your heirs, and then branched out from there. In that vein, then, who else would benefit from reading this book, Barbara, and why?
Anyone who feels lonely, who thinks that they are all alone in this world, people who like to dip their toe into the spirit world, or people who are really well known with the spirit world. I think this book is for everyone. And you know what was really weird, when I wrote the stories, I had them just in a random order. And all of a sudden, it just blended into one book. And my main guide, Ben, he's a combination of all my spirit guides. And he said, okay, this is chapter 1, this is chapter 2. It was so lovely, and it all came together. And I thought I was just randomly typing away, but I wasn't. And they thought, oh, let her type and we'll tell in the end what would be the right order, all the chapters.
Yeah, well, on the back of your book, it states, and I'm going to quote, "Your guides share their knowledge and explain the essence of why we are here on Earth, how we can build a deeper contact with our soul group, higher and future self, and our oversoul." Barbara, what is the essence of why we are here?
To discover who we really are, and not who we were told we are. To discover our full possibilities, our knowledge, because everyone has lived several lives, some many, some a few lives. All the information, all the things we've learned in previous lifetimes, it's stored within us, and it always wants to come to the fore. So what we really are is our soul instead of a body. That's our essence.
Yeah. Can you explain what an oversoul is?
Oversoul it's an energy. It's not a person. It's an energy. And in every lifetime, we have a different main spirit guide. And all these different main spirit guides are guided by the oversoul. This is a heck of a job to guide all these different main guides. It's what an oversoul does.
Okay. A side note, not for expansion, just as a side note, I have to say that I really appreciated Ben's words regarding family estrangement. So if there's a listener or listeners, if I'm lucky, out there,
The whole universe is listening, Kelly.
I would definitely pick up that book if you find that you're having to break contact. Yeah, give that book and that section a read, and I think that it will lift your spirits and give you some, give you some strength.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, thank you. Barbara, can you shine a light on guides, ghosts, and spirit? What the difference is between guides, spirits, and ghosts?
Ben doesn't like the word ghost. He says, I'm a spirit, a spirit guide, and ghost is more something that was offered by the media or even in movies, like Casper, the friendly ghost. The guides are fine, the spirits are fine if we call them ghosts, but they're not ghosts, because ghosts are more related to scare people. Ghost is more like a Hollywood name.
Now, I've heard some people say that ghosts are what residual energy is. Spirits are more like people that you have known, or people that, come and go, if you will, on my cell phone. And I have put it up there on YouTube. Am I correct in understanding that spirit orbs would be possibly a manifestation of my tribe or just spirits that are coming through? Do you have any insight into that for me?
Yeah, it can be both. I think it's a mix. Because there are spirits who are very curious, and they're like, oh, look at this lovely woman with the iPhone taking pictures of us. It's good energy, but it can also be your tribe combined with the others.
Does everyone have a guide, Barbara?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think, oh, that person doesn't have any guides at all. That's impossible. But yes, everyone has a guide.
Okay. And how do they get assigned to us?
It's by agreement before we are born, and often it's very lovingly, but it depends on how old your soul is. So the older the soul, the more influence you have on who is going to be my guide. The younger your soul, the younger your guide is as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so sometimes you're just like, okay, we have to work together, you and me, like you and the spirit guide. Yeah, because your spirit guide grows when you learn and you do the right thing, or you're listening to yourself, like, should I do that or not?
So are the guides learning as well?
Oh, yes, the learning process never stops.
I think an important takeaway from this, or maybe an important topic to be expanded on, is the difference between old souls and young souls. I have read and really enjoyed Michael Newton. My limited understanding is that you can be a young soul even though you may have been reincarnated many, many, many times.
Yes, true.
Okay.
True.
And you can be an old soul, but
Yeah.
have only been around the earth anyways, a few rounds. Do you think that that's correct? And do I understand that correctly?
Yeah. Yes, that's true. And it's very easy to recognize young souls.
How do you do that?
It's not what they do for a living, but what they do, like, for instance, low energies that when you think about it, you would never do that.
Mm-hmm.
And for them, it's really easy. They don't care. People without a consciousness, things like that.
What I'd like to know is, are guides around us 24/7?
No, thank God. We want some privacy, please.
So what do you think they're doing when they're not hanging out then with us? I'm sure they have an ability to bilocate, but what do you think that they're up to?
My guide Ben is talking right now. He said that differs. Sometimes they go to the group with the oversoul and have like meetings. Sometimes they are already making plans on what the next step would be for the soul the guide is guiding, the human on earth they're guiding. So they're always busy.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because I had an image of just that, like they would be in this huddle. But that's what I sort of thought. That's sort of the image that I had. So thanks for the clarifier. Do guides ever dispense incorrect information if they themselves are always learning?
No, the only thing that can be difficult is time, because where they are, there is no time. And that is so difficult to get our head around, because we do everything with the clock.
Now, I wanted to talk about your spirit guide or guides. And can you elaborate on them and who Ben is before I go any further? In case I didn't do that in part 1.
He always says hello.
Hello, Ben.
Okay, thank you for the question. And he's a lot of fun. Ben's a lot of fun. And he can be funny, and he's very serious. Who is he? Well, we've met numerous times in previous lifetimes, and we've always been in the same family, like father, daughter, parent, and child. He loves the attention, that talking to you, he just loves to help to understand people, that there are guides, and that he can use me to talk to you.
To bring information
Yes.
to people through you, through him, through you.
He compliments on us, because this is such an incredible, challenging time to be alive right now. And he warned me about this. He warned, not warned, but he said like, okay, buckle up. That was in 2012 already. Like, buckle up. There are heavy times coming. And I didn't know he was talking about the Roaring Twenties, this decade.
Mhm.
And he said souls were like so eager to be born right now, like we are living on Earth right now, because this what's happening now, it will never happen again, and it never happened again.
I have heard people talking about the shift that is occurring
Yeah.
and will continue till, I don't
Yes.
know, is it 2035? I don't know.
Yeah, sort
Yeah.
of. Ben says 2032, and
Oh.
but it's like we're being tested, because being on Earth is like a big school. We learn and we are being tested to stay true to what we feel. If it doesn't feel right, then don't do it. And that will be the test for the coming years.
Didn't we just go through a test?
Yes.
2020.
Massive.
Wasn't it though? Before I forget, Barbara, I read in your book, which I found really interesting, you mentioned our higher selves.
Yeah, I see our higher self, our intuition, the guides. I see this as one. They work together, and all our lives are happening at the same time, because there is no past, now, or future. Everything happens at the same time. I find it difficult to get my head around, but you can connect with your future self.
Do you recall how you came across that belief, that way of thinking in regards to time?
It's something I asked Ben. I said, why is it so difficult to talk about time? And he said, because everything happens at the same time. And I said, what? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, everything happens at the same time. And he said, and that gave me the shivers in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
He said, sometimes you wake up from a dream. And when you wake up, you think, oh, I'm so happy this was a dream because it was horrible. Or it was really happy. That's also possible. But he said, when you're sleeping, you're out of your body and you can visit other lifetimes, so you can see what's happening to you. Well, the years we had, like the medieval times, they weren't that pleasant. So maybe we looked at something that happened to us while we now in this lifetime were asleep.
Mm-hmm.
We visit a prior lifetime, and let's say we had a terrible disease, or we gave birth and everything went wrong, and then we wake up in this lifetime and we think, oh my God, I'm so happy this was a dream.
I wanted to ask you about Ben. You call him Ben. What is his full name, or her, or its? How does it like to be addressed? So I won't offend.
Yes, well, he has a very, very, very long name, an Italian name, and I cannot pronounce it.
Okay.
So I said, I'm going to make it Ben. But sometimes when I do automatic writing, I get a mix of Portuguese, Spanish, Latin, and Greek. I don't speak any of these languages, but that's a combination. So that's Ben just giving me a hard time to write that down.
But he obviously communicates to you and you to him
In Dutch.
in your mother mother
Yes.
tongue. As I said before, you don't need a translator then. They can just do that. When spirits come to visit you, they communicate to you in Dutch. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. In your previous lives, Ben was there. Did he answer to Ben back then as well?
No, he was not. It's a name. His full name is something that is given to him when he passed away. So he got this long name, and I really can't pronounce it. It's too
From
difficult.
whom?
The spirit guide or the oversoul, I don't know. I wrote the name down once, but it's like almost a complete alphabet. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
Can you ask Ben how old he is? Is it okay if I say he? Because I
Of
mean,
course.
Ben.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, no, he doesn't care.
Okay.
I sometimes say, and this is not good, but I sometimes say, hey, when I'm in a hurry, like, hey, and
Hey,
you
you.
know, yeah, but that's awful.
Hay is for horses.
Exactly. My mother always said that.
Yeah.
Don't say hey, but he's laughing. How old? Okay, he's saying 55,000 years.
Was that all?
A baby.
Well, I was going to ask you if your guide is assisting you now, but I see that he is anyways. But
He
other
loves
than
your
me
humor. He
asking,
loves your humor. He's
good.
laughing like,
I'm glad that he gets it. Not many people do. Before I asked that question, how was he assisting you, like with this interview, or was he just standing back and just watching you?
before I give a reading or an interview, I always say, "Dear guides, can you help me?" And then, ploop, they're there. So he was here in the room before we connected.
And when you say they're there, do you feel the energy, Barbara? Can you
Yes.
see something? Is there like, is there a light? Do they come to you in orbs, or orbs are passe for them? That's below them.
No, it's not below them.
It's
Absolutely.
not.
No, no, no,
Okay.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel their love. It's warm. They always come stand on the right side. Yes, and it's warm. I feel the love. They're making fun of us in a good way. They never laugh at us, never. But they like your humor, so they immediately jump into your humor. They are serious when they have to be.
Yeah.
But the orb, when you're just reading a book or doing whatever, you're just looking in front of you. From the corner of your eye, you see something. You see like this little light bulb, like moving on the floor. And then you look at it, you turn your head, and it's gone. That's an orb, of course, but it's a soul. When they show themselves, the orb is like opened, and then they can manifest in whatever form they want.
Now I've seen those flickers with my naked eye. Before
Ben is laughing because this is a really terrible word in Dutch, what you just said.
Is he good with spark, or does that? Okay, good.
He's good with flickers too.
Oh, flickers. Okay. Well, they're almost like a little fairy spark. So I used to see them and think, oh, I'm just seeing things. And then I captured that on video, but I saw it over the camera. And then when I looked back at the video, there it was. So I knew that was my proof. I'm there. I saw it there, and now I see it there. So they flick in and out. Sorry. They spark in and out. So what does it mean, by the way?
Horrible. I'm not going to say
it.
Oh,
Okay.
But it's your language.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. Don't make me self-conscious or anything, Ben. Now you got me off my game here.
He wants to tell you about the orbs that are like two rings, and they are half over one another. Like
yes.
They collide, and then they are two, and well, that's twin souls.
I think that those are the ones that I call angel wings, and you can see two round, and they move like as if they're fluttering on either end. Yeah.
Ben is mentioning that what you saw, like two souls who are one, they are a part of each other.
Those used to come around a lot, that shape, but that was one of the first orbs that I captured. I think that was one of the first ones. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And Ben, he's saying to you, and look at all the colors.
I know.
And especially the purple and the blue, dark blue, pink.
I got pink.
They also want to tell you things. So if you dare, just say to them, okay, what's your message for me? Because they chose you to see them, capture them. So they want to interact with you. And this is only the beginning for you, Ben just said. You
tell Ben that I'm going to hold him to that. If this doesn't happen, I'm going to see him when I'm done here. I'll set up a meeting with him. My guides will meet your guides. They'll have a chit-chat. Seriously, though, thank you for that. In the last little...
You're very special. He thinks you're very special.
Everybody's special. He knows that.
Well, he can see your growth and how you're open. You're not denying anything that's happening, or your brain is not in denial. So he loves the fact that you're open. And your grandfather, from your father's side, he really wants to show himself to you as an orb. And it could be something you're not aware right now, but smells, they are like in a drawer in our memory. Your grandfather is connected with the orbs, and he wants to teach you and help you. A lot of other guides as well.
Yeah, I never knew my grandparents from my father's side. I never knew my grandfather either from my mother's side. That's interesting. I am very highly sensitive when it comes to the olfactory, my nose.
No, you call your nose the olfactory.
They call it like the olfactory
Oh,
sense.
funny.
Yeah, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah, it is. And
but
mine is very
developed.
yes.
Okay. So if you smell, no, when, not if, when you smell something that reminds you of your father's side of the family, grandfather.
Okay, I'm going to take that as tobacco then. Because my father used to be a smoker, was a smoker. That's sort of the memory that I have of him. And but I'm not sure. So I will keep an open mind and
Yeah,
remember that. Thank you, Ben, for mentioning more orbs to come.
he wants you to see the difference, like the different groups of orbs.
I have seen very many colors and different sizes and things, Barbara, that do not look like an orb. I mean, they look like something from another planet. It's an entity of some sort. Like I don't know what it is. But I've caught it on camera. I've put it up there. But I'm not sure. I just call everything orbs because it's easier, right? I don't have a name.
Well, they are, but they you have different types. But because Ben is repeating, there are many kinds of different orbs, and
Yeah.
you're the one who's going to discover this and make people aware of it.
Well, we'll see.
I'm like, hallelujah! I would
Oh, yeah.
like that to know about that.
Me too. I still have a bit of time then on this earth.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Okay.
Yes, you're
Okay.
you're 30.
I'm 39. That's right.
But,
That's right. I have another 39 years to go. Thank you. I actually didn't know, and it wasn't my intention, Barbara, to bring Ben, no offense, Ben, into the conversation because I didn't want to step on his spiritual toes. Yeah, and bring him in. Then I'll put him in the show notes. I had an interview for this one with Ben and Barbara. Yeah, okay. Do guides chat it up with other guides then? Because they're not around us 24/7.
Also, when you are about to meet your future partner, the guides already are in contact, like, okay, how do we get these two together? And it's so easy for guides to make us do things. Like, how many times have you thought, well, maybe I should go tomorrow, or maybe I should take this U-turn, or no, let's go to the bakery instead of the butcher. Things like that. That the guides whisper in our ears, like, go left or go right, make us do things in a good way, of course.
Yeah.
Never in a bad way.
Would you consider Ben your gatekeeper? What I mean by that is only allowing for certain energies
Yes.
to come through to you?
Yeah, but I said that to him when I started doing this work. I said, I want you, Ben, to be my filter. Because I trust him like 1,000%. So he has to be my filter. Yeah.
Did you consult with Ben in regards to doing this podcast?
No, because I had I had goosebumps when I received your email. I got goosebumps and I thought, oh, this is fun. Yes. So I think Ben gave me that yes feeling and maybe the goosebumps, like, yeah, you can do this.
Okay.
So that's a definite yes for me.
Good. Barbara, what are some of the other situations that spirit makes themselves visible to you, aside from when you're doing one-on-one readings or even over the phone readings? Like, do you see spirit when you're at a grocery store or at the hair salon or something like
Yeah,
that?
sometimes I do. When I really have to say something to someone else, and I'm just in my free time, they will make me do it because it's crucial.
They give you an energetic push.
Yes. And I don't like it because I'm in my free time, but I do understand that when I have to say something and I'm around, that they can use me for that.
That's your sole purpose. So you got to listen to them.
Yeah, well, I'm also human, and sometimes I just don't like it. I'm like, oh, I
Just
don't
put the
know what to
covers over
say.
your bed and just
Yeah,
stay
like
there.
I don't want this,
Yeah.
but I will.
Has your relationship changed with your guides or with Ben, over the years? Have you noticed that has changed?
Yeah, it's grown a lot closer. And in the beginning, I was like really respectful. I'm still respectful, but I also say things and joke around. And
You get sassy with them.
yeah, but also I'm human. Sometimes I'm tired of waiting for something.
Yeah.
And being patient is such a difficult lesson. So then I want to start a discussion with Ben, like, okay, explain to me, why does it take so many years? And he just walks away like, oh no, I'm not going down that road again with her. He just walks away and he laughs. And I'm like, okay, this is not funny.
So do you ever like throw an energetic, towel at him?
I never tried it, but that's a good tip.
Okay.
Maybe I should.
Don't blame me, Ben.
We will.
That's what I thought. He knew I was going to tell you that anyways.
Laughing, having fun, it's the connection with the universe right away when you have fun. It's so good for your health because your immune system is like up, up, up. So it's good. We're laughing, but at the same time, our energy is doing a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. It changes the energy flow. It just, like you said, opens.
Instantly.
Yeah. I believe that too. Has Ben ever dissuaded you from going into a certain situation? Like, I'm going to go walk down, this street. Has he ever said, no, Barbara, don't do that? And it's him.
Yes. And also with people.
Oh, yeah? Do tell.
Yeah. First, I get like a very nasty feeling in my stomach. But sometimes my mind overrules my heart. And my mind will say, well, give it a chance or blah, blah, blah. And then Ben says, don't do it. Walk away. And then I know I have to walk away. Otherwise, bad things will happen. Not physically, but it's just a waste of time to be with someone who's not okay.
Did you learn that through trial and error to gain trust from your guides?
Yes.
I downloaded your ebook. Through your telling of your ebook that you have, you aim to help individuals recognize and develop their psychic abilities. Who was it that mentored you? It sounds like Ben to me. I would imagine that Ben has been mentoring you and getting you to listen to yourself or listen to energies. And
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he mentored me, but also at one point I wanted to go to a psychic school.
It was this Mark Felt.
Yes, Mark Felkner Adley.
Yeah.
And I had a best time with him. He's such a he's still alive, thank God. He's funny too, so he's making you laugh because he knows you get the direct energy contact with the universe. Yeah, so he mentored me as well.
Was that for trans mediumship?
Yes, and I did a healing course and just the psychic medium things.
Before that, did you feel like you were going through baby steps and just sort of feeling your way around in the dark? When you first started, did you go, hey, Mom, or hey, Dad, how do I do this?
Somehow I had this feeling that I knew what I was doing. Then I wanted to develop trans mediumship, and that's how I connected with Mark. As young as I was, I always knew this is true, what I'm feeling.
Maybe it was from messages from your higher self then.
Could be, yes. Kind of a certainty that I didn't make things up.
Yeah. Well, let's fly over, if you will, to what I'm going to call mystical moments that you had that surrounded you had two OBEs, Barbara. Why don't you use one of the examples then of your OBE for the listener? Go ahead.
And I had a very long operation on my jaw. It took a couple of hours. And so I fell asleep and the operation started. And I saw my grandfather and I was very fond of him. And he smiled at me and he had this large book with him. And it was so heavy, but I could hold it in my hands. And it was thick and it looked like a medieval book with the cover was of leather, brown. And the paper was almost like pergament. Is that the right word, pergament?
Parchment paper?
Parchment, sorry, yes.
Yeah, that's okay.
And the letters were like beautiful with ink and with curls and everything.
Like calligraphy.
Yes, beautiful. Yeah. So he said to me, read the book and there's a word missing here and there. And you have to figure out which word is missing. And he gave me the book upside down. So I said to my grandfather, I can't read it. It's upside down and I don't recognize the language. And he said, well, try anyway. So I, page after page after page, and I suddenly thought, I know what the word is. And my grandfather said, "What's the word?" I said, "The word is love." And he smiled and he says, "That's correct." And he closed the book and I woke up
And when you woke up, where were you?
in a hospital bed.
Like in ICU?
Yes.
Hmm. Did you tell anybody right away?
No, I didn't tell anyone. And I did, but I think it was after a couple of years or something, because I thought I dreamt it. A regression therapist told me once that he heard this before when people go to previous lives, that they can read books in another language, thick books with the leather and everything.
That is interesting. And I have heard that for people that have experienced NDEs. What are they called? Acoustic records. I think that's the name of them.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Reflecting on that, is that what that seems like it might have been?
It could be, but Ben is saying no. It was a real book made by real people. And
What?
it's in the library of the universe. So my grandfather took it from the library from the universe, and he gave it to me in that experience, and then he brought it back.
The Library of the Universe. That's the first time that I've ever heard that. Is that one and the same, or is that a
One
separate
and the
space?
same.
Oh, it
No,
is.
it grows. It never stops growing. And you know, Kelly Joe, what you can do before you start to meditate, ask your guides, dear guides, I want to connect with the library of the universe, and I want the information that I need right now at this time in my life. And they will take you there in the meditation.
Yeah. Every day I'm there, I've got to meditate. And every day I find myself doing something else. Do you know, something
Yeah,
else comes
that's
through.
okay. It doesn't matter.
I know.
Everyone has that.
I know.
But if you ever want to start meditating again, you will
I
get
do.
a download of the information you need. And you're not aware of the download. You are aware of it at the moment you need the information, because suddenly you know things.
Before we close this conversation, Barbara, do you have any, I guess, a takeaway message that you might gift to the listeners?
Your power ends where your fear begins. And I don't know who said this, but it's not coming from me. But I don't know who said it, but I think it's just so spot on.
It is. It
Your
is.
power ends where your fear begins.
Barbara, would you like to leave contact information, which I'll also post on my website, orbicletimes.com, where people can get a hold of you for your services, psychic services, do a one-on-one, and all the rest of the services that you have to offer there. You have a great website, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's Barbara the Medium, and there you can find everything I offer, the book. I also give a mediumship course that's coming. I think it's ready by the end of this year. I'm doing it one-on-one, so that's also nice. But barbarathemedium.com, that's it.
Well, Barbara, thank you again for carving out some time to contribute to this cast through your telling of. It truly was my honor, Barbara, and a delight.
It's been my pleasure, and thank you for having such a great time and laughs. I love to laugh.
I would like to keep this cast a commercial-free zone. In light of that, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channels. All my orb videos are available by using the handle @Spirit Orbs Sightings, or visit my new channel with the handle @Orbicle Times Podcast. If you've already subscribed, many thanks. For blogs, episodes, show notes, bios, images, and video, please visit www.orbicletimes.com. If you enjoyed an episode, then please give a like or a share on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, or whatever podcatcher you happen to use. If you've already done so, much appreciated. Thank you for taking your time to visit these Orbicle Times. Orbicle Times Podcast is written, produced, edited, and hosted by me, Kelly Joe, at Studio Spare Room. So how is your energy? Ooh. Okay, what was that?
What?
By any chance, are you wearing bangles? Like around your wrist?
No, I don't have any earrings or nothing.
Now, you know what I forgot to ask you, Barbara? I wanted to know, have you ever tried on your own to have an OBE?
I did.
And did you? Like you did and you did? Or you did and you did try and it did happen?
It did happen, yes. And I don't like it because I didn't know if I could keep control. I'm very like a control freak. I saw myself lying below on my bed. That's what I
Yes.
saw. And I thought, what if I go further and further and further? And then I thought, but maybe I'll just fly into the cosmos and I'm never coming back. But if you want to do that, you can practice it.
And when you thought that, did you go right back into your body or what happened?
Yes. And, sometimes when you're almost asleep, you have this feeling like you're falling.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when your soul returns to your body, but in a little bit of rough landing. Feels like you're falling, but it's your soul coming back into your body.
You've never done it again since then?
No, since then I never did it again.
And you probably never will.
I don't think about it, actually.
Okay.
So I don't think I ever will.
Well, Barbara, thank you again.
Thank you for having such a great time and laughs. I love to laugh. It doesn't mean we're not serious, because we are, but it just feels good to laugh.
We were asking a series of semi-serious questions, and that's all right. And if somebody doesn't get that, well, sorry for them. But we had a good time. I guess I should let you go. and Ben too, because he has to meet with his buds. Oh, the other thing I wanted. Yeah, but exactly. I'll have one too. Paul, this is what I want to know. Do you imagine that when we are leaving our bodies, okay? Like I've listened to quite a few NDEs. It is all about love. They always say that. But I never hear anybody say, and I was looking down at my body and then I started going through the cosmos and I thought, oh, could I ever have a pizza? Do you know what I mean? Do they, or like a good cup of Java? Do they miss? Yes. Yeah. Do they miss that? Do they sip on that like psychically?
They can. I'm so happy about that because, we all have our guilty pleasures and I don't want to lose them.
Okay. I'm just going to throw this in at the end as a bonus because I think that that's important. There's my body schmotty. I'm looking at it. I don't care. It's just as a carcass. And then not remember or lament for some of the pleasures that we enjoyed on Earth. And I'm sure that there's other pleasures that are available. I mean, how cool would that be just from going from cosmos to cosmos, through the cosmos? But I'm sure that there'd be times that you'd be like, chocolate right about now. So I guess we can't eat that.
You can manifest anything there. You can manifest anything. And
but you wouldn't physically eat it though.
No, you can manifest that you remember the taste, like you're eating it. That's something you can manifest. Yeah, just like you're really eating it or drinking it or feeling it.
Wow. And no calories gained. Okay, so that sounds like a win-win.
Perfect. When I die, I'm going to.
What are you going to do? Eat cake?
Oh, everything that's not allowed. I'm going to do everything that's not allowed.
This whole coming back and reincarnating and coming back and learning and coming back, I often think, come on. I mean, if it's supposed to be, such higher knowledge on the other side, all knowing, you can stay there if you want and hang out. Because I've heard that. You don't have to go back. You can stay.
Yes.
Do you think that that's true?
Absolutely. And they were really... But that's what Ben said, that the spirits, the souls, were really, not fighting over who will get a place on Earth. They were eager to be born because...
During this timeline, you mean?
Yes, because what we're experiencing... This is off the record?
Do you want me to put this off the record?
Yeah, otherwise I think you're being banned. This shift is also a very spiritual shift. So people will get more spiritual. So it's going to be deeper. And you're the one who's going to go into the deep with the orbs.
So I'll let you go, Barbara.
And I wish I could talk to you. He's giving you a wink, like, bye.
Is he? Yeah, okay. I high-fived him. I'll see you later. He knows what I'm talking about.
keep me posted, please. And if you want to do a
will.
part 3 ever, don't. I would love to be there.
Thanks, Ben. I will let you get on with your evening.
Yes, I
And
would thank you so much. I had a great time. I
me
loved
too.
it.
Me too.
And
And we'll keep in touch. And all right, you enjoy your evening.
you too.
Okay, take
Thanks
care,
so
Barbara.
much.
Okay.
You too. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye bye.